Chapter 96. Together. Valerius watched as Iolea's head lowered, and it made soft hooting sounds, clearly feeling so guilty, so responsible for all the deaths and destruction that had occurred and would occur.
Did not know it would follow, that it could follow, thought the connection was gone.
Iolea explained.
Even though I could still feel something, thought I was free, thought it was over, been so long, thought it would be safe, but no, my fault.
You are not at fault, Iolea.
Caden cried.
Valerius, tell Iolea that it isn't at fault.
Of course, you are not, Iolea. You are the behemoth's victim. Valerius reassured both his lover and the white dragon spirit. Caden reached over blindly and squeezed Valerius' shoulder in thanks. Iolea softly hooted and looked at him out of grateful blue eyes, but its head was still lowered and its expression still sad. Caden went up to the mirror and put his hand on the glass over Iolea's head as if to touch the dragon spirit. Valerius wished Caden could physically comfort Iolea. The white dragon spirit pushed its nose against the glass, but could not get to Caden no matter how hard it tried. Raziel stared down at the two of them, and there was a curious expression on its face, tender and sad. As close as they were to their spirits, they were just as far away. Valerius touched the mirror too. Raziel saw his hand and lowered its massive head and pressed it against where his hand was. He thought he felt warmth through the mirror and not just cold glass.
We need to tell the others about this,
Caden said as he petted the glass.
No.
Raziel's nostrils flared.
They will blame Iolea for this.
For what?
Caden demanded.
For doing what you and every other spirit has done? For coming here and connecting to a human? It didn't know that the behemoth could come here.
I brought danger here.
Iolea shook its head.
If I had not come.
No, Iolea. This unrest has been coming on for longer than your coming. Valerius stated emphatically. It is clear that the behemoth has been acting in this world far before last week.
Yeah, Iolea, this stuff with the faith has been ongoing for years.
Caden agreed.
Sarai and Fidel were taken over far before you came here and joined with me.
But now the behemoth is here, not just in the spirit world.
Iolea pointed out.
That it could not do before my actions.
You saved many lives by coming here. You defeated one of its plans unknowingly, Valerius pointed out. In fact, I think you coming here, drawing it to this realm, was a good thing. Iolea and Raziel looked at him intently. Caden turned towards him too. There was hope written large on all of their faces. Behemoth could not be stopped before it came to this realm. Valerius explained. All the free dragon spirits are here, are they not? Iolea hooted.
All the rest are with it.
So you see, the behemoth was beyond our reach, your reach before. Valerius stated, once a thing has come here, it can be destroyed. We are 9 against 1. We need to bring the other dragon spirits here so that you can all speak to one another.
But they will not trust Iolea,
Raziel cried.
They will think it is still under Behemoth's influence.
So Behemoth likes to be petted, adores kids, wants people to dance in the snow?
Caden shook his head.
Anyone who knows Iolea will recognize it isn't at all controlled by Behemoth.
Valerius caught Raziel's gaze and said simply, lying to others or ourselves is not the right way forward, Raziel. Raziel tossed its head.
They have no right to judge Iolea. They have no right to.
If Iolea is in any danger from the behemoth, whether physical or spiritual, we must know, Raziel, Valerius stated. Caden whirled around to face him. Those innocent blue eyes were huge.
Valerius, you don't think...
No, I don't think Iolea is being controlled. but that does not mean it could not be affected in some way by the behemoth. Sarai was a shifter, and she was affected. Fadel, I believe, was human, and he was affected. Valerius took hold of Caden's arms. Iolaire has told us that it still feels some connection to the behemoth. We must not ignore this.
No, but
Caden bit his lip.
it just feels so wrong that Iolaire would have anything to do with that monster.
I know. I am still trying to accept this fairy tale as real. Valerius grimaced and shook his head. But now that I know it is, I will not close my mind to any possibility, nor should you either. Caden nodded miserably.
Iolaire has brought such joy to people.
And a new understanding among the dragon shifters, Valerius added. Iolaire will continue to do so, because it is special and a different kind of dragon spirit, but I will not ignore Iolaire's concerns. Would you? Caden shook his head and passed a hand over his forehead.
Imagine what the press would have said if they knew the behemoth was real, and that Iolaire had been a part of it, though.
Valerius did not want to think about that, but really he feared more what the behemoth could do to Iolaire and Caden more than he feared any bad press. The behemoth is in this world now. It must have joined with a human. Perhaps at that ceremony that Anvar showed us, or... His voice suddenly died as a horrible thought occurred to him. Caden's eyes became huge, catching his thoughts before he could stop them from leaking out over their bond.
What if Iolaire having a bondage human is enough? What if the behemoth is joined to me, too?
Valerius was violently shaking his head. I would think if that was the case, when you shift, you would become the behemoth and not just Iolaire. But you don't. I do not understand this connection between Iolaire and the behemoth, but I do not believe it touches you.
Would never let the behemoth hurt Caden.
Iolaire was standing tall, wings outstretched, blue eyes crackling with might. I know, Iolaire, Valerius stated.
Nor would I.
Raziel added, rising above the white dragon spirit like a mountain. But he did not know, and he didn't think the dragon spirits knew either what the behemoth could do, no matter what Iolaire wanted. Did the Hydra have access to Caden in some way? He'd said no. He believed that, and yet his soul felt sick and wanted to shrivel away at the idea. But he could not. Danger was here. He would face it head-on.
Those moments when we weren't able to shift Iolaire.
Caden said suddenly.
Could that have something to do with the behemoth? Like maybe it was in this world and so shifting was hard? Or maybe it didn't want to shift. I don't know.
Iolaire hooted that it did not think so. It sensed nothing of the behemoth in Caden. Those are likely just nerves, Caden. Nothing more, Valerius stated as he smoothed his hands up and down his lover's arms. Caden, though, did not look so certain.
You didn't have such nerves.
I was in the middle of battle, and Raziel and I joined. Hatred and rage as a way of blasting through one's doubts, Valerius reminded him.
Yet we don't really know.
Caden cried and wrapped his arms around himself. He cupped Caden's face. I know. There is nothing in you of that thing, Caden. Caden nodded, but still appeared miserable. Valerius firmly looked at the two dragon spirits as he stated, I do not know whether it was our failure to not ask more of you and your history, or if you were hiding what you did not see as important. But we cannot allow such secrets between us, mates, and the behemoth. These things are crucial for us to all understand, but you kept them from us. As Caden stated, we are in this together. The white and black dragon spirits exchanged looks and then turned back to him and Caden. They both nodded. And it is not just the four of us either, Valerius said. All the dragon shifters must know. I will. Before Valerius could say more, the doors to the throne room were thrown open and Esme appeared, followed by the other dragon shifters.
Scylla told me about the behemoth, and not just Scylla.
Esme said, looking pale and uncertain in the dim light.
The behemoth is real. They fought it. They thought they destroyed it.
Scylla appeared in the mirror beside Raziel and Iolaire. Scylla flapped its wings tentatively, asking to draw near and be accepted. Iolaire hooted eagerly, but Raziel kept the white dragon spirit well within its powerful arms, but nodded for Skylar to lean in and touch foreheads with Iolaire.
Oh, Esme, Scylla and Iolaire are so cute together. Lana wants some cuddles too.
Kayla cried. Lana appeared in the mirror. Her turquoise scales reminded Valerius of a Bahamian sea. Unlike Scylla, who had requested to be let near, Lana, like her human, simply busted its way in. Scylla lifted an eyebrow. Raziel's eyes narrowed, but Iolaire let out barks of laughter, showering them all with snow. Lana appeared to love the snow, snaking its tongue out to taste it. Iolaire opened its mouth and caused a huge mountain of snow to appear. Lana made a very undignified squeal of delight and tossed itself into the snow. Snow flew up everywhere, coating all of the dragons. Caden snorted.
Aw, Caden, can't you make it snow here?
Kayla asked, her hands balled into anxious fists.
I want to do that too. Dear, we have to speak about something important. Making snow angels can wait.
Esme countered.
I do my best thinking about bad things while I make snow angels.
Kayla pouted.
Your territory doesn't get cold enough for snow,
May stated as she glided into the room. Her dragon spirit, Zipple, appeared in the mirror with its delicate branch-like horns. Its golden mane moved as if there were a constant wind. Elegant and deadly, Zipple did not join Lana in the snowbank. In fact, it put one clawed toe into a nearby clump of snow. There was a hiss as the snow melted, turning to water and then almost instantly to steam. Iolaire hooted at Zipple, who regarded the white dragon spirit out of narrowed red-gold eyes. Iolaire attempted to go over to Zipple, but Raziel put a firm arm around Iolaire's waist to keep it where it was. But Iolaire somehow slithered out of the restraining arm and went over to Zipple anyways. Caden glanced at May. Neither of them had moved, but her eyebrows were lifted, as were Zipple's. Both were not large dragons, more like evenly matched in terms of size. But Zipple, like its human, was not trustworthy.
Do you like epic-length vampire stories? If so, I have a recommendation for you, and that's my Everdark series. It starts when two friends enter an eternal vampire realm, driven explorer Julian and skeptical Christian. With his mortal blood, bold Julian awakens the most powerful vampire of all, ancient vampire King Daemon, asleep for millennia in an abandoned tomb, who now walks the earth once more and desires Julian as his immortal beloved. Logical Christian never believed in vampires, but after one nearly kills him, he too is no longer an ordinary human. His vampire savior, exiled Lord Balthazar Ravenscroft, can have anyone he desires, but he only seems to want Christian's love. This story is completed in many forms. The 147-chapter web serial is archived on wraithbrain.com. The audiobooks and book series are available on my own shop, Amazon, Kobo, and a lot of other third-party retailers. And there's a free podcast as well. If you want to read the written story, the first book is free from the Wraith Brain shop. I'll post links to everything in the notes.
Valerius stiffened as Iolaire delicately sniffed at Zipple's throat. The red dragon spirit's eyes widened, and magma dripped from its jaws and plopped down on the ground, glowing redly. Iolaire was not deterred. It breathed icy breath at the glowing magma that was lifted into the air and transformed.
Whoa!
Caden breathed and leaned forward.
Did Iolaire just create a sculpture out of Zipple's magma with its breath? Yes, dear, Iolair did.
Esme stated with a delighted laugh. The sculpture looked to be an infinity symbol made of dark, glassy rock. Iolair nosed it towards Zippel and hooted.
A gift.
May whispered, blinking rapidly.
For me? For us? I think so,
Caden said, with a smile twitching at the corners of his mouth.
You guessed May's love of gifts?
Valerius asked.
I don't think many people genuinely give or do much for May,
Caden stated.
I think they all want something from her and Zippel. That's the kind of people she surrounds herself with.
That is not you and Iolair, though.
Valerius put a hand on Caden's right shoulder.
No, and I'm hoping that it makes May and Zippel realize that not everyone is like she believes or fears.
Caden admitted. Zippel reached down and lifted the glittering rock and studied it. The red dragon spirit looked up at Iolair, then back down at the sculpture. Confusion was writ large there for a moment. Finally, Zippel inclined its head and flapped its wings in greeting to the newest dragon spirit. Iolair tipped its head back and emitted a flurry of snowflakes. Zippel sent out sparks. Red and white danced in the air currents in the cavern. Are presents being given out? Elrond is beside itself after revealing all of the details of the battle with the behemoth, Tez cried as he strode over to Caden and Valerius, one hand outstretched.
That was all Iolair Tez. I don't have anything you want.
Caden reached his hands into his pockets and pulled out a mint.
Unless you want a linty mint, you can have it.
Tez plucked it from Caden's hand. That's something, I suppose. We share what we can, and you do that, Caden.
You are not really going to keep that, are you?
Valerius frowned, as Tez dusted it off and stuck it in his pocket. Why not? A gift is a gift, Tez remarked. Eldaron appeared in the mirror. It immediately struck a pose, or so it seemed in Valerius's gaze. Raziel rolled its eyes as the golden dragon spirit slowly spread its glorious wings. Glittering golden light filled the cavern. The other dragon spirits all looked over at it. Zippel immediately glanced away as it continued to study the gift Iolair had made. Scylla shook itself and sighed. Lana was still in the snow and called out for Eldaron to join it.
Lana wants Eldaron to stop preening and play.
Kayla stomped a foot in front of Tez. Tez's lips twitched, but he said with all seriousness, Eldaron must allow everyone to see its beauty. When was the last time all of the dragons were together?
Well, except for Anwar just this afternoon.
Kayla pointed out with a shake of her head. Lana formed a snowball and threw it at Eldaron. It hit the golden dragon spirit on the cheek. Outraged eyes turned to Lana from Eldaron as the snowball slowly slid down Eldaron's magnificent cheek. Caden let out a bark of laughter, which, after Tez's glare, turned into a coughing fit. Valerius patted his back. Eldaron tried to preen again, but another snowball made its way towards the golden dragon spirit, hitting it on the chest. Iolair let out a soft hoot as its blue eyes narrowed with laughter.
Iolair!
Caden cried. Eldaron immediately leaped over the snow pile and opened its jaws before blowing a mighty breath on the snow, which covered Lana and Iolair in piles of the fluffy stuff. There was a scuffle among the three of them, but it was playful, though it shook the cavern as the titanic Eldaron was gotten on his back by Lana and Iolair working together. 2 against 1, Tez cried in a feigned affront. Raziel and Scylla looked down at the scuffling dragon spirits with a distinct appearance of being well above such activities. Of course, that was when snowballs were thrown at them as well. Raziel let out a huff of heat that melted most of the snow. Iolair, Eldaron, and Lana looked bereft. That was when Scylla blew out a stream of water towards Iolair, which the white dragon spirit immediately turned into ice statues of beautiful shapes. So, I do get a present, Tez murmured, as Eldaron lifted one of the delicate, already melting sculptures. It was clear from Zippel's look that it believed its stone one, which was permanent, was far superior.
How long has it been since we've all been seen together like this?
Jahara asked as she glided in like the queen she was with a faint smile on her face.
Too long, I think.
Esme stated.
You still believe my plan for us all to be in one territory is unworkable, Valerius?
Jahara asked as she stepped to his side. For a short while, we all get along, but yes, I still think that as a long-term solution, it is not a workable one, he told her. I rule nothing out, but that would feel like a retreat, not a victory. Zephyra appeared in the mirror. Its iridescent purple scales were luminous in the low light. A wind swept from it and stirred all of the other dragon spirits' wings. They all lifted their heads as if eager to take flight. Zephyra smiled as enigmatically as its human did.
If the behemoth is here, dear, we cannot retreat. We must go forward.
Esme cried with a gesture of her arms. Scylla flapped its wings. We defeated this behemoth before. It was Ilarion who spoke. We can do so again, but this time we will make sure it is dead and gone. We? You mean our spirits? Tez pointed out. We knew nothing about the behemoth. Our spirits are more powerful with us. We add much to them as they add to us, Ilarion stated. The Green Dragon King strode into the throne room and headed right towards Valerius's throne. Mephis appeared in the mirror, huge and bulging. Poison swirled around the green dragon spirit's head. Raziel turned to face it. They were almost evenly matched, except that Raziel was bigger, which it demonstrated by sticking its chest out as it glared at Mephis. The green dragon spirit, who had been attempting to make its way to the center of all the dragon spirits, much like Ilarion was doing in going towards the throne, stopped dead in its tracks. Valerius stepped neatly in front of Ilarion, which caused him to stop too. Raziel's red eyes glowed like the pits of hell, while its tail swept dangerously back and forth as if winding up a leap. Mephis's head lowered, not in obeisance, but also as if it were preparing to lunge towards Raziel. Valerius and Ilarion were practically chest to chest. Valerius smiled at him grimly. I do not know how I ever thought that you were the mastermind behind all of this, Valerius murmured. As if I would have puny humans fight my battles, or hide behind the faith, Ilarion scoffed. Mephus's head was surrounded in a swirling cloud of poison, almost as if the green dragon spirit was smoking. Raziel allowed flames to surround its open jaws.
Guys?
Caden asked.
I don't think fighting is a good idea right now. We need to talk.
Fighting is always a good idea. Ilarion practically purred. You need to be trounced every 30 years, Valerius stated flatly. Suddenly, both of them were dashed with cold water, or more like snow. Snow covered both of their human forms, and there was an ice wall that was separating their dragon ones. Both men shot angry looks at Caden.
Ilarion, Valerius, stop!
Caden shouted. Iolaire clawed its way on top of the ice wall and looked evenly at both the green and black dragon spirits. Its wings flared out, and it hooted firmly. The other dragon spirits actually shuffled as if brought to order. Valerius barred his teeth at Ilarion, but then gestured for the green dragon shifter to go ahead and sit on the throne. It will never be yours, Ilarion, but I suppose I could let you pretend to be me, Valerius stated. Ilarion's upper lip writhed back from his teeth, but he turned it into a tight smile. Why would I want to pretend to be lesser than I am? Ilarion asked. He turned his back on the throne and crossed his arms while staring at the mirror, as if without seeing any of the dragon spirits reflected there. Ephraim was not with the other dragon spirits when the behemoth was taken down, Anwar said as he entered the throne room last. It had thought that this battle was a fairy tale, but clearly, no.
No.
Raziel stated. Anwar's head jerked towards Raziel in the mirror. The other dragon spirits had yet to speak. Evren's sleek silver body entered the mirror, and Iolair hooted at it to come nearer. Evren looked up at Iolair on top of the ice wall with an almost wry amusement as it took in that one of the smallest dragon spirits, rather like itself, was ruling over all the bigger ones. It sat and curled its long tail around its clawed feet. Raziel speaks, Anwar said with a soft laugh at the end. Raziel has been quite shoddy, if only it had been before, Valerius stated with a huff. He scrubbed the back of his neck. But there is more to tell, even now. Valerius looked at Caden. Did his lover wish to do this, or would he have Valerius do it? Caden looked stricken, and Valerius knew that Caden was experiencing Iolair's emotions. Guilt, responsibility, sadness, fear. Valerius put an arm around Caden's shoulders and kissed his temple. Raziel rubbed its head against Iolair's in the mirror.
Scylla says.
Esme gasped as she looked at Iolair.
Scylla says that Iolair was part of Behemoth. What?
No.
That can't be true.
If it was, is it still? More questions were loosed from every throat. Valerius allowed them to get the questions out. Finally, silence fell. Into that silence, Valerius said, "Let me explain what we know." And he did. All of them listened intently. There were nods of agreement, sharp intakes of breath, and brow furrowing. He finished all too soon with the facts that they had figured out so far. "As you see, we have more questions than answers," Valerius stated. "We know that the behemoth was defeated once, but in the spirit realm. We do not know if it has joined with a human or if Iolair, having done so, anchors it here. But now that it is here, parts of the physical realm, it would seem to me that destroying it would be possible. Or at least, we could send it back to the spirit realm."
Should we attempt to destroy it?
Jahara asked. "You must be joking. What else would we do?" Ilarion scowled at her. "Indeed, Jahara," Anwar stated. "We cannot allow this being to remain here. It has already poisoned so many minds, taken so many souls. Who knows what else it can do?"
Yes, I know.
Jahara stated patiently.
But don't you see that if Iolair escaped the behemoth, that means the other dragon spirits that are part of it might be able to be freed as well? Iolair is the mate of Raziel. What if our mates are the ones that the behemoth still has in its clutches? Do you want to destroy them too?
Have you found all of my audio stories yet? There's Everdark, Everdark Academy, Dragon's Reign, and The Night Prince. They all contain MM romance, and the shortest one is 140 chapters. I'll post a link to all my podcasts in the notes.